Hey y'all, welcome to my channel, Big Check Energy. My name's Tiffany. I'm an HR professional, I'm a resume writer, and a notary, amongst other things like caregiver, foodie, couple different things, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So if you clicked on this video, it's because you're probably looking for a new job, you're not getting any traction, you feel like you've got the experience and skills. You might even feel like your resume is okay, but you're not getting any interviews. So I'm here to give you 3 reasons why you're not getting any interviews. And I'm also going to tell you what exactly you need to do to fix it today. Goal is to keep this video as short as possible and not make it a storybook. Okay, but go ahead, give it a like. Don't forget, I don't ask people to do this, but give it a like if this ends up being helpful. Okay, so let's dive right into it. The first reason why you're not getting any interviews is because you're not using the job title of the position that you're applying for on your resume. I'm going to explain this further, so don't get confused. You may have one job title. You're applying for another job that doesn't have the same title, maybe similar, but you're applying for another job, period, and you're not including that job title anywhere on your resume. Don't be confused. Let me show you behind the screen exactly what I'm talking about and show you exactly what you need to do. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so here we go. To repeat what I just said, you have one job title, you're applying for another job title. You need to use the job title of the position that you're applying for on your resume. So let's say I'm an administrative assistant in the HR department and my job title is administrative assistant, or it is HR administrative assistant, human resources assistant, something like that. But I'm trying to land a human resources generalist position. I have not had the title human resources generalist yet, but I'm going to get it. The way you're going to get it is you're going to use it on your resume up here. All right, let me highlight this. Underneath your header, you're going to put the job title that you're applying for. You're not going to put your current job title, which is what I see a lot of you do when I look at your resumes. You're putting the title of the position that you're applying for right above your summary. And by the way, in case you're curious, this that we're looking at is actually my resume template, which is available in my shop. Okay, so you can go to pitchr.com and get the template from the shop, or you can just look in the description of this video. I'll link it down there. So you're an administrative assistant or whatever your title is right now. You're going to put the title of the position you're applying for. Your reason for doing that is very simple. It is because me as the recruiter or the manager, I want to know what you're applying for real fast, right? Let's say I, for some reason, print out your resume or I just open up the document. I need to see right here what it is that you're applying for. In case you didn't know, this top third of your resume, which is what we see first when we open that file, this is that top of the line digital real estate. It tells me everything I need to know, where you're located, the position that you're looking for. And so I know once I've read this title that everything else that I see and the experience that you've had, whether it's just closely related or directly related to that role, is something that applies, right? So it shapes my view as I'm looking at your resume. So you want to drop this at the top of your resume so that it makes people who are looking at your resume understand what it is that you're here for. There's no time for figuring it out and like trying to see what you're applying for based on your experience, because you could be transitioning. And so this is key, especially for transitioners. It doesn't have to be the exact position that you've had in the past. You just have to make sure that you're using that title at the top of the resume, because here's the thing, the title of the job is itself a key word. So if you understand at all how applicant tracking systems work, they're essentially pulling from a list of keywords and comparing it to what you have put on your resume. So this is going to be key for transitioners. And even if you're not transitioning and you've been in your industry or in your field for years, you need to start doing this if you haven't already. I guarantee you that once you start doing this, also with the next 2 things I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a game changer. So I don't want to see anymore that you're putting your current job title or some fluffy job title that's not directly the position you're applying for anymore at the top of your resume. And here's a little added gem. Make sure that you're putting a relevant summary up there too. Keep it brief, keep it concise, and also make it keyword rich, okay? Because keywords are key. Hello. So now let's talk about the second reason why you're not getting any interviews. The second reason is actually fairly similar to the first reason, and it is because you're not listing your job title, your current job title, or previous job titles on your resume correctly or effectively. Let me put it that way. So let me put this in using that same example. You're an administrative assistant, right? And you've been helping support the HR department, and you really want to be an HR generalist because you know all the things, right? Like you've been working really closely with them. But for some reason, you keep just listing your job title as administrative assistant. That's why you're not getting anywhere with your job search, because you've got to do a little bit more than just list your job title, because Lord knows that some of these companies, especially if you work for like the state or any government agency and things like that are fairly large and have different levels to their positions, they give you these weird titles like personnel associate 3, things like that. Unless you're trying to stay in that same area and work for the government, you are going to have to learn how to list your experience and list your title differently. Let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so here we go. Using that same example as being an administrative assistant and wanting to move up or transition into something else, or being, like I said, the person who works in government and you've got this horribly vague title like personnel associate 3, okay? Let's say you are hypothetically moving into HR or trying to move into HR for the sake of this example, because that's what this resume is written for. Remember, we had our title, Human Resources Generalist, at the top of the resume. When we get down to our experience and we are putting down our current and previous job titles, we're going to emphasize those keywords and those specializations and experience areas in the title as well. So here we are, right? Let's say you were technically a personnel associate. You could use a different title that is similar but coincides with the private sector. So you might want to do something like HR associate or administrative assistant, something like that. In this case, let's say you are truly an administrative assistant and you're trying to be an HR generalist. You've been doing some of the work that the HR department does, and you want to highlight that in your experience and in your titles. So instead of just putting administrative assistant, what you need to do is tack on some additional information here that shows us exactly what you've been doing when it comes to being an administrative assistant. You can hyphenate it, you can put it in parentheses. There's different ways to do it, but what you are doing by highlighting these keywords and specialized experience is you're pointing out the fact that you provided human resources support, right? You're pointing out the fact that you worked with onboarding. Let's say hypothetically you were a person who's trying to become a benefits administrator and you've been an administrative assistant or a personnel associate this whole time. Instead of just saying administrative assistant or just saying personnel associate, you would then put let's do the example of using the parentheses. You could say benefits coordinator, and then that way you have that title listed there as well. Or you would say benefits, comma, leaves of absence, like if that's something you've been working with. And then you can say maybe employee enrollments, whatever the keywords need to be for the sake of you aligning with the position you're trying to apply for, you put that up here. I don't want to just see personnel associate 3 anymore, because this is what I'm seeing all the time, right? I never spell personnel right, don't judge me. But personnel associate 3, we don't know what that is. If you're not trying to work for that same state or county or whatever agency or government agency, take that off your resume and rename yourself. You know, you've got to repurpose the experience that you have. It's not lying. It is simply realigning your experience with the market that you're trying to attract, with the recruiters that you're trying to attract, with the companies that you're trying to attract. And the same applies to your LinkedIn's, folks. Make sure that that title that you're listing there is actually corresponding with the companies you're applying for. Best example I give people is when you are, I like to use HR just because that's what I do. When I was looking for different jobs, I would have the title HR generalist, right? Or human resources associate. Every company doesn't call it that. And especially if you're one of those people trying to work in tech, they don't call it that. They call it people operations or people team, right? So if I'm a person who is not in tech and I want to work in tech, instead of calling myself an HR generalist or an HR associate, I would call myself a people ops manager or a people ops associate, a people operations manager, because that's what they call it. We do the same work, but we just have different titles. So I don't want to see this anymore. Okay. All my personnel associates out there, yes, I'm talking to you. Anybody who has like a super generic title, go ahead and figure out what that title is going to be at companies that you're interested in, or in industries that you're interested in, and start calling yourself that. I don't want to just see personnel associate 3. I don't want to just see administrative assistant, because that's where y'all get the game messed up. And you say, well, I'm just an administrative assistant. No, you're not. You're an administrative assistant or an administrative coordinator, but you've got to talk about what it is that you focus on. So if it's benefits, let's say it's family medical leaves. Of course, you got to spell it out first before you use the acronym. So you'd spell out Family Medical Leave Act and then put the parentheses. I'm not about to type that all out right now. Or if you're doing onboarding, whatever it is that you want to highlight that you worked on or worked with, put it in the job title. Rename and repurpose. That's the name of the game. You've got to finesse these systems, and you've got to get yourself in front of the right people, because remember, all of the things that we're using here, they're all keywords. And keywords are our friends, because that's what the applicant tracking systems are looking for. Our job titles are keywords. Our key skills, whether you put them here or at the bottom of your resume or the top of your resume and highlight them, they're all keywords. They're all searchable fields, not fields, searchable terms when recruiters and hiring managers are using applicant tracking systems. If you don't know what an applicant tracking system is, we need to talk. Anything that you apply through is an applicant tracking system. You go to ADP and submit your resume and submit your application. It sucks all that info into a tool, and we can filter people out. Okay? That's what it is. So just know that you've got to start working with tools and working with the knowledge that I'm giving you to get the better outcomes. Okay? So stop it. Stop putting those basic titles and start finessing the system in your job search by adding in these keywords and focus areas. All right? Reason number 3 why you're not getting any interviews is because you're not using JobScan yet. And if you don't know what JobScan is, don't worry, because I'm about to tell you. JobScan is a tool that allows you to compare your resume to the actual job that you're applying for. You literally copy and paste the job that you're applying for, and you either copy and paste or upload a copy of your resume. What the system does is it acts exactly like the types of tools that recruiters use to find candidates. You can also scan in your LinkedIn, in case you didn't know. I'm going to include the link to the video that I already have that shows you exactly how to use JobScan. I'm not going to repeat all of that here, but just know that what the tool does is it does a comparison, an exact comparison, and it points out the keywords that you are missing. So again, using that administrative assistant example, you might be missing key references to things like benefits, or missing key experience or reference to your experience with onboarding. Like, you know you've done it, but your resume doesn't talk about it or pinpoint it and actually use the word onboarding anywhere. That tool is the cheat code, people. I have told so many people about it, but for some reason, people just like either look at it and don't actually use it, or they just want me to write their resume. And I'm like, okay, but I'm still telling you to use this. You have got to try using it. It is a game changer. I use it myself. I switched jobs last year. Last year when I applied to 2 positions. I was contacted by both companies, not just because I have the skills and experience, but also because my resume was written in such a way that it made sense. It directly correlated with that position. One job contacted me 8 minutes after I applied. So if you think that using this tool is not going to help you, you're crazy, okay? So 8 minutes after I applied, they were like, hey, we'd love to talk to you. The other one, they got back to me 3 business days later. It was a total of 5 calendar days because it was a Thursday morning. 3 business days later, they were like, we'd love to chat with you about your experience. That does not happen. I literally applied to those 2 jobs while sitting there on a Thursday morning getting my oil changed. And both of them reached out to me. That's not just luck. That's not just me having great experience. It is because I leverage technology to get the results and outcomes that I want. You can't avoid it, folks. If you want to keep staying stagnant and getting those immediate instant rejections, then keep doing it the way that you're doing it. But if you want to see results, then try out JobScan. I'm going to include the link to it below. It is a free tool. If you want a paid subscription, which gives you more uses each month, by all means, you can do that. I have a paid subscription. I think mine is like every 3 months. I don't have like a year long, because the goal is to not have to use it more than 3 months, right? You can do it by the 3-month window, or you can do it month to month. You save money doing 3 months, of course. Some people take up to 3 months to find a job. Others can find one fairly quickly. I've always been one of those people who can find one fairly quickly, but it's because I leverage the tools available to me. So again, it's a free tool. Click the link, try it out, set up an account. You can get 5 scans each month. I have a complete how-to when it comes to using it, all right? I'm going to link that below. And also, to close out this video, I want to remind you all that if you are struggling with where to start setting up your resume or how to edit your resume for different positions, I have an entire course on writing a better resume. It is called Winning 6 to 10, and it is only 1 hour long. I show you everything. While you're taking the course, you also get a copy of my resume template for free. But my formatting, my template is ready in there for you. The course is available. I did a giveaway this weekend on my Instagram. I gave away 5 free course enrollments, and I'm getting 5-star reviews, okay? So you need to go ahead and check out my course. It comes with a template. It comes with me walking you through each and every step of setting up your resume, and it's only 1 hour. Just 1 hour. If you've got an hour to spare and you want to like step away from Love and Hip Hop for an hour, don't judge me. I watch it. I'm not judging y'all. I watch all the trash TV, actually. So you want to step away from the Love and Hip Hop. You want to step away from the Zeus. Yeah, I watch Zeus too, y'all. Don't come for me. I like balance. I'm real businessy, but I also like my trashy TV. But if you've got an hour to watch that, you've got an hour to learn how to write your resume and get better outcomes in life in general. All right? So that's what I'm coming to you with today. Oh, goodness. If you have questions, drop a comment below. Have you used any of these tools before? Have you used any of these methods before? Tell me what your job search has been like, and I'd love to hear about it, and I will absolutely respond. All right? So thank you so much for your time. Go ahead to the description bar, grab my course, grab my template. If you don't want to do the course, go ahead and grab the template. And I wish you the best of luck in your job search. Bye.